So we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome again. This is the Organic Instagram Growth webinar. I'm very, very excited you guys are here today. I'm going to give you guys a ton of different value. And my hope is that I can retain your attention long enough to share that value with you. There's a lot of stuff to be shared, a lot of tips and tricks out there. We're going to share the really best ones. And then later on, I'm going to share some goodies afterward as well with you guys, so you can get the extra stuff that we're just not even going to be able to fit in the webinar today. So let's go ahead and move right along, right? Instagram. Wow, where do we start? There's a lot to it. It's an app that literally, has 1 billion users monthly. Now, 60% of those users use the app on a daily basis. That is a staggering number. And here's the good news for you. Even though being on Instagram, as far as a brand goes, is difficult, 80% of Instagram users follow a brand. So it's really not limited to just other people, friends, and family that they're following, okay? You just got to really know how to navigate it, have a strategy, how to go about it, and you'll get out there, you really put your name out there, and you're going to grow. So we're going to show you that today, okay? Here's what this webinar is going to help you do. Number one, it's going to help you get more followers. Why is getting followers important? Well, getting followers is the base of being able to syndicate your content. The more followers you have, the more interaction, potentially the more conversations with potential customers, the more sales, right? This is going to help you get more likes on Instagram posts, which is important because more likes is also helps your content be shared, okay? It's going to help you discover the lesser known features of Instagram and also leverage the native tools like stories, Instagram Live, and a lot more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Here's a little about me. My name is Joe. I am the digital marketing consultant, co-founder of Beyond Creative. We're a digital marketing agency. I've been doing digital marketing for about 15 years now, since Facebook was a thing, believe it or not. What's Beyond Creative? Our deal is that we help businesses thrive and navigate this digital landscape, okay? So we help them with things like SEO, blogging, social media management, whether it be organic and paid. Today, we're going to discuss the organic aspect of it, which, if I can backtrack just a little bit, what's organic versus paid? Organic is that you don't have to give your money to Mark Zuckerberg for your content to rank or to be syndicated to a lot of people, as opposed to paid content like pay-per-click. You have to pay them to advertise, okay? So we manage social media organically. We also do paid advertisement on Google and social media as well, email campaigns, video editing, and web development. So let's dive right in. What's our first tip of the day, okay? And all right, Laura, I just saw your message from Miami. Awesome. Glad you're here today and joining us. So our first tip of the day is going to be links in story highlights. This is a big one, okay? Let me start with the disclaimer first. Why is it important? Unfortunately, this feature is only available to accounts that have 10,000 followers or more. Laura, if you're joining us from, I believe, Peterson Harley, you guys are very close to that mark. So just keep it up. You guys are almost going to have it. So 10,000 followers, it's kind of a big milestone. Unfortunately, Instagram doesn't really allow you to do links and stories up until you've got that 10,000 mark, or if you're a verified account, okay? So either one of those two will get you. Now, why are links important in stories? Why is it a hack? Why is it a tip and a trick? Well, some of you may recall that Instagram, even since before Facebook bought it, has been notorious for being very closed off for links. So it's not like you can go in a comment like on Facebook and you put in the link and then all of a sudden there's going to be a preview for your link and people can click on it. No. Instagram has always been very mobile based, and so that was very closed off. So you can't, if you try to add a link on a comment or even on your post, it's just not going to go anywhere. So notoriously, what most people have done to go around that has been like put a link. They only allow you for one link just on your bio, and then people have pointed companies and influencers have pointed to the link on their bio. But putting links on your story highlights is a way around that, because as you put a story and you can put a link on the bottom of it, you can save it as a highlight on your profile. It doesn't go away, okay? Which stories do, by the way. They're gone after 24 hours unless you highlight it, and like you see down here on the bottom of the screen. And you can point to a variety of different things: podcast episodes, different placements of your website, current promotions that you're running, and you can utilize story highlights to do all of that. Okay, so that is really an excellent tool for you to be able to leverage links on Instagram. Okay, our next one is like addressing the elephant in the room: commenting and responding. I have some good news and bad news, right? The good news is there are things out there that are really not mind-blowing that you can do to grow your Instagram. The bad news is that there's really no shortcut for it. It's like just really putting in the work. It's got to be done. Commenting and responding is one of those things. Engage your audience. If somebody's commenting, asking you questions, or it may not even be a question. It may just be something that's really a relevant comment that it's not a bot that's just making a comment on your account. Engage them. Okay, that's critical. Now, some of you may have already heard that tip. One that's less known is trying to find influencer accounts that are relevant to your topic, to your company, right? And then try to be the first one within the hour of posting on their account, on their new post. Why is that important? Because what that's going to do is it's going to get you some of that real, like prime real estate, okay? And it's going to be great exposure for your company. So people are actually going to be driven to your profile, just being curious about who you are, whatnot. And your comments tend to stay at the top if you're one of those first people to interact with that influencer account. Now, another big one, another trick that we personally use here, it's not on the deck, but I'm going to share with you. This is like a little plus and a little bonus. It's kind of an unknown, secret out there, which is find your hashtags that you really want your business to be related for, and go out there and look for content on those hashtags and just comment and comment and comment and comment and comment and just be methodical about it and just constantly do it. And what's going to happen is that there will be engagement. It's a numbers game. Okay, so the more you do it and the more relevant you do it, have maybe some predetermined comments that you want to comment on people. And then, of course, use your discretion. Once you go to the post, make sure it makes sense and then kind of tweak it a little bit and then paste it. But doing that over and over again, maybe set yourself a couple of days to do it out of the week. It's going to really help your account grow exponentially and very highly targeted for people that matter to you, that are actually important to you, to your business, and to your account. So here's a big one, okay? The next little tip that I have for you: share their story, love, okay? If some of you don't have a brand yet that gets shared on others' story, just reach out to somebody and say, hey man, can we do some collaboration and just do a little story and share my content on your story? It's very easy to do. I want to really make this webinar interactive. So toward the question and answer part, I can actually jump on my phone and share the screen. If you guys have any questions, save them, because I can maybe go in and walk you through some of how to do some of these actual things that I'm talking about, okay? So keep that in mind for the end. So as I was saying is, sharing stories is super easy, or sharing someone's post on your story is super easy. When someone does that, reshare it on your story and then customize it, add GIFs to it, just make it your own, okay? By doing this, you're thanking the person for sharing your content, and additionally, you're gaining traction because their followers are gonna see what you just reshared for their story. So this is actually a big one. Don't overlook this. It's very easy and very simple to do, but it's an easy one. So the next one, you guys have probably heard this left and right, but it's so like underlooked. All right, and it's to find the right times to post. Now, here's the tricky part about it and where people get discouraged. finding your right time to post, right? Because it's not just a generic blanket one. It's tricky because every content's different. People that are into certain types of contents may be in different locations, may be into different things. So every business is going to have very particular and specific time when their users are more engaged. Now, the only way to really get there to know that is to start with a baseline. Now, stay tuned, because what I am going to do is I'm going to hook you guys up with a freebie that is going to give you the blanket baseline for the best posting times and days for Instagram. Okay, that's going to give you where to get started. Use it as a tool to guide you, and then use an app like Preview. It'll tell you where the best engagement you're having, the best times, the best days, where your audience is best engaging with you. Okay, but if you're not there yet, don't be discouraged. Use that tool that I'm going to give you guys, that little freebie that I'll hook you guys up with. As a matter of fact, I just put it on the chat. Just go ahead and you can check it out when you get a chance. So the next one over is to discover new hashtags. This is huge. I cannot stress it enough. This is one of the slides I'm probably going to spend the biggest amount of time on. Hashtags are really important. A lot of people don't know that Instagram allows you to have up to 30 hashtags, okay? Use every single one of them. Try to hashtag at least the 30 per post that they allow you to. So hashtags are key. Now, here's my personal preference. I like to use some generic big volume hashtags like, Insta good, Insta love, or whatever the case may be. You can find tons of them out there that have a huge amount of exposure. The issue with those hashtags is don't make those the majority of your 30 hashtags, because then your content's not going to rank for relevancy. It's only going to have good exposure. That's really it. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Just make that a part of your of your strategy, not your full strategy when it comes to using your 30 hashtags. I'm going to share a freebie with you guys as far as a hashtag counter, because what happens is sometimes you'll have a lot of hashtags going on and you won't realize, because your eyes just kind of go crazy looking at all those different hashtags or whatever. And the next thing you know, you've got like 35 or 40, and Instagram just won't read them, and it just kind of looks sloppy, and it's just kind of a mess. So there is a tool out there that I'll share with you guys in a second that easily counts them for you. It's excellent. Use that tool and try to get as many hashtags as you can. Now, I'm also going to share another tool with you, okay, which is all hashtag, and this is a hashtag finder for you guys, okay? It's going to tell you about related hashtags. It's going to tell you about which hashtags are related to which. It's an excellent tool. Leverage it. Now, one extra thing that I'm going to say, a couple extra things that I'm going to say, but this one's very, very important. Use hashtags on your stories as well. That's highly overlooked. I'm guilty of it too. If you go to Beyond Creative, stories, you'll see that I don't have hashtags on there, but it's critical. We do it for our customers, and it's critical for ranking. So make sure you do utilize hashtags on your stories. So an extra little freebie alert here that I'm going to leave you guys with as far as this slide is concerned. An Instagram hashtag holiday calendar. This is excellent for you guys to get your stuff found. It's fun. It makes it very lighthearted. Use it, okay? So it's really cool. It's done by Sprout Social. And the link Christy just shared the link on there on the chat. So that's for you guys to grab up. So, one last thing too, rare tip. I don't know if you guys know. And just, if you don't know, please save it for the question and answer part. I can walk you through it by sharing my screen on my iPhone to show you where you can do it. But did you guys know that you could literally follow hashtags on Instagram? So what that'll do is, if you're interested in seeing new content for a hashtag, you just set it to follow, and you'll get notified when new content goes up to it. So that's a really interesting tip if you're looking for, just to stay in the loop of a particular content that gets posted to a hashtag you're interested in. So next one is a very clever one. Very few people do it. Stories, as you may have mentioned, I've already mentioned it a couple of times, so you may have noticed, are huge. Okay, stories, it was really the way that Mark Zuckerberg brought Instagram up to speed because they were losing so much ground to Snapchat. Okay, so stories was their way to really keep up, and they not only they kind of matched it as far as Snapchat was concerned, they really improved it and made it even better. So stories is huge, and it's actually one of, as my boy Gary Vee would say, it's one of the biggest undertapped resources, most underpriced advertising resources out there. So if you did want to do some paid stuff, stories is like in everybody's face. There are people out there that just spend so much time just watching story after story after story. And if your advertising is there for a 15-second clip in between stories, I mean, it's really gets some amazing exposure. So literally 400 million users watch Instagram stories every single day. Now, with that being said, one of the tricks to getting your content found and the new stuff that you post and get people to engage with you is to actually just do a story on posting out on pointing out, hey, you know what? We just put up a new post. Excellent way to do it. Don't overlook it. It's very clever and super easy. Literally just screenshot your profile feed, kind of like you see there on the slide deck, which, by the way, I'll share this slide deck with you guys on an email within the next day or so. But just take a screenshot of your profile and then now upload it to your stories, and you can add GIFs to it. You can add little arrows and just make it fun. So the next one is excellent. It's trickier if you haven't really gained up, if you're kind of like, you know, where you have less than 5,000 followers and you're on that lower end, or maybe perhaps your content isn't as involved. I know we've got a couple of attendees here with us today that are Harley dealers, and Harley, man, they have a hardcore audience, right? So they're going to have engaged fans and users. You guys can especially leverage user-generated content. This is excellent for you guys. Now, there are some other people, like even Beyond Creative, where it's harder to get our audience to generate content for us, okay? But that's okay. If that is the case, I'll share with you a different tip that you can still do to get people engaged. Now, for those of you that have hardcore fans like Harley does, use your user-generated content. Use an app to repost, and there are many of them out there, okay, to repost your user-generated content, and you give them credit. And that's really an excellent way to not only new people find you, but also your current people be able to see the kind of engagement that you're having with the community. It's excellent. Do not overlook that. For some of you that do not have as much user-generated content, that's okay. You can still use an app like Repost, and then just repost content that's relevant to your audience, relevant to the people that you're trying to give. So in other words, think about it this way: how do I give my my prospect or my followers value? That's really the question that you want to have in mind. How do I give them value? When you answer that question, then go ahead and find the content that you know would be valuable and repost it. Use a reposting app. And I guarantee you the results are going to be excellent. So this is incredibly overlooked. I cannot stress enough how overlooked location is. Facebook, who owns Instagram, fun fact, they bought it for $1 billion. Yes, literally, they bought Instagram for $1 billion. Facebook is huge on locations. Okay, they want people to interact at a local level. Now that is excellent for a local dealership, for a local business. It's not the greatest of news for a national or international e-commerce, but it is excellent news for any local business: a boat dealer, a power sports dealer, a Harley dealer, you name it, right? Car dealers, just any local businesses. Location, location, location. If you go to most feeds out there, vast majority of them, you will see overlook the actual adding a location to your post. Now, the location doesn't always have to be the location of your dealer. If you are posting from an event that you went to, post that. If you are posting from the dealership, post that. But sometimes it doesn't actually have to be your dealer's location or your store's location. Feel free to use, for instance, Dade County, or for us, we're in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. You can even do, the city, Fort Lauderdale, or you can even go Florida. Just give it different locations, but use location. It's an incredibly overlooked tactic. So here's another excellent tip and trick for those of you that get a lot of messages on Instagram. Take a shortcut. So you can write pre-filled comments and quickly reply to questions. This is excellent. And it's as simple as just going to the settings on the app. When you go to your profile, on the top right-hand side, you'll see the little settings icon, and just hit options, go to business settings, and then quick reply, and work on those. And it's going to make your life incredibly, just so much easier. So this is another really big overlooked one. Email signatures. Email signatures are super powerful. As you can see, we actually really do practice what we preach. We have all of our links on there. If you really wanted to just push your Instagram account, make one button and only make that button to your Instagram profile and make it bigger. You could do that if you wanted to, but don't overlook it. If you know, and don't only have it like, if you know, we've got some marketing directors that have joined us here today. Don't only make it your signature and your department signature. Make everybody in the company that sends an email and has an email do the signatures, and make sure your email signatures are as consistent across the board as you possibly can. It just really goes along with your branding. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys I'm going to share a little freebie with you with regards to that. HubSpot, which we're a HubSpot certified partner, we love them. They're great. Has a free resource for you guys on email signature generation. Okay, so you'll see it on the chat. It just came up, hubspot.com/email signature generator. It'll help you generate a beautiful email signature like the one you're seeing on there that we have. So that's a cool little trick for you guys. Another huge one that, you know, some people know about, a lot of people don't know about, is putting your Instagram feed on your website. That's really a powerful one, okay? So you can use even free apps out there that will allow you to embed it. There's an app like Pixly. It allow you to put your feed on your website, and what that's gonna do essentially is it's gonna help you leverage the website traffic that you're currently getting, and say to people, hey, you know what? You may not be ready to buy from us. You may not be ready to trust us, but check out our Instagram feed. It's all good, you know? So this is a really, really important one. Here's something really kind of off topic with regards to the feed on your website, but really interesting, crazy stat, okay? 30% of Instagram users have made a purchase from a company that they first discovered on Instagram. That's staggering, okay? And that doesn't just apply to stuff you can buy on Instagram. I mean, yeah, that's excellent, but really this just speaks to branding and marketing in general. So keep that in mind. It's very, very, very powerful. So try takeovers and partnerships. This is the big one. Try to collaborate with other people. You know, it could be people that are representatives of the same brand you do. You know, for Harley dealers that don't compete within the same area, like your DAT, you know, try another dealer that's in another location, you know, maybe in another state or whatever the case may be, that has more followers than you do. And this is really an excellent way, doing a takeover where you're essentially, you know, taking over their account, they're taking over yours, for you guys to reciprocate and find new followers. It's really interesting. You just got to make sure that, you know, you nail down the specifics of how long the takeover, you know, will be for, how many posts will be included, guidelines as to what topics may be allowed, may not be allowed, and the hashtags. And if there is a compensation, what kind of compensation is in return. So this is a really cool one that people don't really put the time and effort into. It's just really about reaching out to people, and you'd be surprised what kind of response you get. So this is a big one. IGTV, probably the first time you've heard me mention it, I think today during our session. IGTV is big. Instagram is pushing it. Put stuff on IGTV. IGTV is a long form, a new released product that, you know, they did about a year ago, and you can see the link there under the profile where it shows this screenshot. It's just a little tiny bit outdated. The new update to the app actually has in a little bit of a different location as far as like where the grid goes, but the links on IGTV does show up there, like it's circled. It really is an excellent way to get found, okay? Because Instagram is really trying to push this. So do not underestimate IGTV. Try to post IGTV, and then link from your story to IGTV. Remember how I was talking about links earlier on your stories and how you have to have 10,000 followers or be verified? Well, here's the cool thing. You don't have to have any of that for you to link your stories to IGTV. So if you want people to have a longer video, I actually saw one last night on a Harley dealer that was doing a review that was about 5 or 6 minutes long on the new electric motorcycle. So I believe it's the EV, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, long story short is link to your IGTV videos using your stories. It's excellent, okay? And believe me, the more you use stories and the more you use IGTV, the more organically that you're gonna start leveling up, because those are the products that Facebook and Instagram want to push. So if you jump on board with those products that they wanna push, you are also gonna and just start really leveling up. Tags, so understated, okay? Tags are super, super, super important. They leverage other people and other accounts, demographic and audience. Tags are super underestimated, okay, but they're a big deal. Try to really set some time when you're posting before you just hit publish to go through, you know, who is a relevant account that I can tag on here that may be interested on my content. And if you think that it's a good fit, go ahead and tag them. Don't be shy. Please tag, 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 tag. And what's going to end up happening too is some people will reciprocate as well, okay? And they're going to tag you back. And when they do tag you back, let's go back to, I think it was like slide number 2, which was engage, okay, comment. So when they do tag, make sure you comment on their content. They're going to really appreciate that. And believe me, that level of appreciation and collaboration is going to go a long way. So tag, definitely a big one. So here's a very obscure, really unknown one, which is under advanced settings, under your settings, okay, being able to make your content accessible for those hard of hearing. Instagram has features that create alt text and descriptions for users, you know, that have visual impairments and, like I said, are hard of hearing. So definitely utilize that. This is going to be big, not only for the user experience, which is number one. Okay, it's really the number one aspect that you want to address. You want to give your users an excellent experience. But there is a sense too that is going to help you rank your content higher, because the more information that an algorithm of any program, any kind of search-based application, whether it's, or I should say just program in general, not just application, but we're talking about Google, we're talking about Instagram, any more context that they have about your content, because they can't, search engines, and when we're talking about Instagram, the core of the app itself that allows you to search for hashtags is essentially a search engine, right? So when I say search engines, I'm not just talking about Google, I'm talking about the engine behind the app of Instagram. They don't know how to interpret videos, they don't know how to interpret images, aside your descriptions and aside your alt text. So the more information that you can put in a good description for a post and your hashtags, the better. So utilize the alt features to not only, like I said, number one, making the content, it's giving that user experience, but also being able to be searched and ranked higher. It's an excellent, very obscure, unknown tactic. Shopping, huge. Some of you that may be local and don't have the capability of selling online, this is a tricky and difficult one. So, you know, it may not relate to everybody, but if you definitely do have an e-commerce, shopping on Instagram is huge. I mean, literally 29% of millennials use social media to purchase items. Social media, that includes Instagram, of course. So you can actually activate your shopping when you go to settings and then go to business settings. And then, you know, just make your images clickable. Now, furthermore, if you have stuff like Shopify, if you have like a shop like Shopify, or even if you're using WordPress, you can have certain plugins that will make integration seamless with Instagram. Why is that important? Because anything that's actually published on your website will simultaneously be published on Instagram as well. So you're now giving people access. Same thing goes for Facebook, by the way. you're now giving people the capability to be able to purchase your stuff, not only on your website, but now you're telling them, you know what, I really want to make things easier for you. So you don't have to navigate away from what you're currently doing and the app that you're spending 3 hours on a day. I'm going to allow you to purchase my stuff directly on your favorite app. So utilize shopping on Instagram. It's really, really key and critical. It's a very big one. Don't overlook that if you have that capability. So there are some few more slides that I will share with you folks that were not included for time purposes in my slide deck today. But I will send that over to you on email. I'm very excited that I was able to, for the most part, hold everybody's attention and that you guys were able to join. In conclusion, when it comes to Instagram, okay, Instagram cannot be ignored. It's something that it's really an application that we have to master and we have to stay on top of, okay? It's not only really, just the millennial market, but you've got people on there from anywhere their late 20s to their mid 40s, which is a core demographic of most of the people that I work with, and they're on Instagram. They may not be on Instagram spending as long as they would millennials, but that's okay. Instagram is an enormous tool, not just for selling, but for having social conversations. It's an amazing tool for branding. It's an amazing tool for marketing. Instagram cannot be overlooked. It needs to be mastered rather. And don't be afraid. You just got to try things and you got to be methodical about it and just doing it, and you will master it. The engagement is really going to be the key to it. Just being on top of it, staying on top of it. Don't be discouraged. Things don't have to be perfect. Just go through the motions and do it. By the way, I did forget to mention earlier on that we do offer services for growth on Instagram, whether it be as little as just helping out with growing organically and us commenting and doing a hashtag strategy. We do help out with that stuff. Email me later on if you do want help with that. I can give help that isn't even related to our services for free. If you want to just pick my brain, I'm all for helping. I'm not here to try to sell anything. So by all means, we do also offer even posting content as well. So anything you guys need, I just really want companies out there to throw